When I was little, in Knife, Indiana, I lived, there was a lot of shooting, a lot of violence. There was a lot of drug dealers in the corners. And my dad never used to let me go outside because he was scared for me to be outside. Girl I know, her name is Jamira. She got shot because of a pair of earrings. I felt it so bad. It was right in front of my house. Her boyfriend, Cholo, he was shot also, but only for $5. And it was a couple of blocks from my house.
Cholo was about 17 years old. They was a little bit small, but he used to sit on the steps with my daughters. Every day he would sit here on the steps with us.
7 years ago, he got a drug dealer all play. Needle, shooter, everybody. He could sleep in the night.
I couldn't send them outside, go to the movies or stuff like that because I was really scared they might not come home.
This area was the worst area in the city. For drug dealing, for violence, for gunplay, it was without a doubt, hands down, the worst in the city. And historically, it had been the worst for more than a decade. The drug dealing was actually the economy for the neighborhood.
Fair Hill, this historic Quaker burial ground, was just a wreck when we first saw it. Refrigerators, tires, dead dogs, trash as high as your head. We didn't technically own the burial ground at that time, where there were famous reformers. It was our history that was buried there.
Robert Purvis worked for the anti-slavery movement. He started the Vigilant Association of Philadelphia, which we would call the Underground Railroad. He wanted to help the runaway slaves get to a safe place. A lot of slaves migrated to Philadelphia, knowing that they had the Quakers as well as Robert Purvis on their side.
Well, Lucretia Mott was a person committed to equality for blacks and for women, and she spent her whole life struggling on those two issues. Men and women were meeting together, and black and whites were meeting together, and there was such a ruckus going on that the mayor went into Lucretia Mott, where she was running a meeting of women, and suggested that they break up the meeting. And she refused. She said any little suggestion of fear was not going to stop them. And then toward the end of the afternoon, she arranged for the women to walk out in twos, one white woman with one black woman. And she herself led the procession, and just her courage made all these taunting people fall back. Now, I'm positive if she had awakened from her grave and seen what had been happening to the Fair Hill burial ground, she would have immediately gotten to work, because that was her style of being.
It was such a daunting prospect to think about how this could be made safe and secure and visitable.
We then decided that what we were going to do is to buy back the burial ground from the person who had bought it.
When we got to the far side, which is where the drug dealers were doing their thing, a young boy came up on his bicycle on the sidewalk and said, "What are you doing here?" And I have to say, I was a little apprehensive, and my father just smiled at him and he said, "We're going to clean this place up. Would you like to help?" And the boy smiled all over and said, "Yeah." And then I felt differently.
So we just got started clipping, removing trash, removing debris. We met once a month. It took years before we could even mow the lot.
One of the first people we heard about from everyone in that neighborhood was Peaches Ramos. We worked with her from very early on.
The first meeting I called, out of my neighbors didn't want to sit with me. It was frustrating because the drug dealers was across the street, and it was really frustrating because they would look at us wrong. They would throw bottles at us, but I was determined, and we was determined that it was going to stop. So we just started hanging there every night. It didn't matter, rain, snow, we was out there every day.
As fast as we were cleaning up, it was getting dumped on. So we began to repair it and get the fence closed up. They came on a Friday and put up really close to 500 feet of chain link fence and the appropriate posts and everything. And on Monday, it was all gone. But they came back and put it in again. And that kind of persistence has been absolutely essential in getting this done. Well, one of the great boosts in this decade-long process was when Captain Nestel became the captain of this local district. And he was the kind of person, is the kind of person who comes out, meets the neighbors, really does what he says he will do, and really understands what people need to have done and how to support them in doing it.
When I came back here as the captain of the 25th District, Peaches was already moving to change the neighborhood. She got a block watch going on 9th Street where people would actually call the police and give us information. Hector started standing on the corner at 9th and Indiana, and then people were coming out for drug vigils. They were coming out to clean the neighborhood, and folks that are trying to buy drugs want to do it as anonymously as they can. If we have people standing out on their stoops or sitting on their steps or looking out their windows and looking at these folks, giving them eye-to-eye contact, the drug buyers are uncomfortable with that and they move on. The drug dealers are uncomfortable with that because they don't want to be known in the neighborhood. They move on to another corner, or maybe they get a job at McDonald's, hopefully.
A lot of people were scared to communicate with the cops, but I told them to make them a home, get them some soda, give them some water, let them use your bathroom, because, they're here to help us, so we pulled together with them.
The people were mobilizing. They became so pro-police that they would hold barbecues at 9th and Clearfield just for the police. The police officers would stop there and have lunch. When we're driving down the block, they're waving to the people instead of looking out the window wondering who's going to be firing next.
And even the cops was out there with the kids and would shoot basketball with them. So it was nice, And then the neighbors said, okay, we're going to do this every night. We did it every night until we got it clean.
Reverend Streeter bought the church across the street that was originally the meeting house.
I did not know the neighborhood was like it was when I came here, but I knew the Lord sent me here to do His work. I just had a vision that I wanted to start a youth ministry. People were afraid to come to my church because of the neighborhood. They stole the batteries out of the cars, bust the windows. I met Peaches, who is the woman that gets things together in this neighborhood. And she was gathering on the corner of 9th and Indiana, having meetings so that they can take back our neighborhood. That's what she said. So I joined them, and the policemen were there.
A lot of people are afraid, but you're there to support them. You're not there by yourself, We're on this front line together, and one for all and all for one. The fear has to leave in order so we can expand our wings and be free. We're not going to tolerate nobody coming to deteriorate our neighborhood, and we are not going to stand there with our arms crossed and let people do whatever they want to do.
The Quakers have been really a backbone to me. They had my back. We're a team now, and we're working to clean up this neighborhood and make this a place for our children to be safe.
They arrested a lot of people, and a lot of them got locked up, a lot of them went to rehabs, and a lot of them moved on to other neighborhoods. But they realized that we wasn't playing, so a lot of my neighbors were still hanging on the corner. So I guess they said they can't hang here no more. We took over. So we took over.
Well, I believe that everything has to change for the better. And when you keep a strong, positive thought and that feeling in your heart that things have to get better, they do get better.
Hector is on the corner. That's the Black Panther. Other two kids, they live on the block. All the kids are from the neighborhood. The one in the wheelchair is my grandbaby, and my daughter and my kids where the wheelchair at. The little old lady in the corner is from Indiana, and the old man's from Indiana. Boy playing basketball. He lives on the block. And it was just like showing the people now how the people can come and play outside. The boys shooting basketball. The kids are walking the street, roller skating. So I'm like, I have to tell the guys on the corner, I'm over there watching you, so don't stand on the corner and sell no drugs. I'm in the corner watching you. And I told the girls, I won't get old and wrinkled, and I'll be on the corner watching them. So the mirror means a lot to me. And to the neighborhood,
Now, oh my God, it is so beautiful. You can walk in the cemetery. There's no weed. There's no trash. We can get out the bus, come home. The kids can come outside and play. The ice cream trucks will come out here. My kids can play. I can enjoy. I can breathe. I see all my neighbors. It's beautiful. You don't see nobody in the corner. Where they at? Where they at? They better not come around here.
And, since I've been growing up, everything's changing, and I like it this way because now cops are, really paying attention to what's going on in the neighborhood, and I like it. I like now my little sister can come outside and we don't got no problem with it. Even though, we've seen people, still doing stuff, but now it's not like it used to be. Now it's calm, and I like it like this.